Hello, and welcome back to Factorio Space Age. We have just finished setting up some some foundries on Nauvis. So we are now taking our iron and copper ore. We are now melting it into molten iron and molten copper using imported calcite. And then we are using foundries to make the iron plate and copper plate that we need. Between episodes, I tweaked a few things. So, for example, our Express is now moving loads of 4,000 calcite at a time. And I need to bring the colonizer back. We're going to stop running the special deliveries here. Because we're doing pretty good here. Our next steps on Nauvis are going to be to rebuild the chip fabs using the electromagnetic plants. And I think we're not going to do that right away. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to head out to Vulcanus. You see there I've got a to-do list set up. We're going to make some cliff explosives. I'm going to get rid of all the cliffs here. The cliffs on Vulcanus are not meant to be worked around. They're meant to be a constraint until you get the explosives and you can get rid of them, and now you can start building. So that's where we are. I also want to relax my grid. So the dense grid was great when I was trying to fit in the grid in between the cliffs, and having a denser grid gave me a little more capability. I think if I go with a normal grid like this, if I just put I just put this down in the middle, okay, and use long power poles, we're going to be okay once we have the cliff explosives done. So while the colonizer is heading for me, I do two things. Actually, I'm going to go build the. I'm going to go build the. Build the cliff explosives on Vulcanus on the map until we get our stuff going here. We'll need to get ourself over. We are going to be picking up a bunch of things that's going to make it difficult to do work with the robots. Anyway, we can get part of this started while we're waiting for the. So up here, I'm going to move you guys out a little bit. This will give us enough space to bring our parametric builds over. We need to make cliff explosives, and those go in here. I think I'm going to make 2 machines making cliff explosives. Cliff explosives are next to landfill. We're going to need a whole bunch of them because we may be exporting them. And 2 machines should be enough. We will be pausing the game early on to make a huge amount of cliff explosives to basically blow up all the cliffs we already have. But after that, our expansion rate will be low enough we can just let the cliff explosives do their thing. So we need barrels next. Again, we don't need great quantities of barrels because we're only using them for the cliff explosives. We're going to do that. And now we need grenades. We're going to put in one guy building grenades. And then we'll see how many more we need. We may not need more. Oh, the colonizer really is now misnamed. He's not a colonizer ship anymore. He is just a taxi. Back to Vulcanus. So this tells me I need a second machine making grenades. like that. The next material I need is explosives. Those are made in chem labs. I do have a chem lab here somewhere. There we go. You are making explosives, and the product you're making is also called explosives. I can never pick this up by eye when I need it, because I never remember where they are. There you are. And the parameter 3 is the fluid, so it is coming up blank in these guys. That's all right. Your water is coming in below. And I need 6 more explosives machines. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you guys are going to need water, and I'm guessing we only need 1 water machine. So I'm going to just toss it in here. You're going to be doing steam condensation, and I'm going to have steam coming in here. These guys are such high quantities, I'm pretty confident that's going to be enough. And this needs some calcite. Let's go get our there. So that will have our sulfuric acid coming in, being turned into steam, being turned into water, being used for all of this. What else do we need? Steam, sulfuric acid's coming in, steam's being made here. This isn't going to be matching up because one is steam 500 and one is steam. Ingredients 60K, we're producing 120K, we're all right. Okay, there we go. We're requesting in coal and calcite. We need to make sulfur. I'm pretty sure sulfur is just one of these. Yeah, water and petroleum gas make sulfur, just like that. I'm going to flip it horizontally so I can get the water in there. I am going to bring this guy out here. So you are bringing out sulfur. What's the rate? 2 per second? Well, let's go ahead and use a green anyway. And you are going to be making as long as the amount of sulfur in the logistic network is less than 100. We don't need a whole lot of sulfur for all of this. Now, the petroleum has to come from far to the left. Let's go find the petroleum. Taxi is still in motion. So petroleum is over here. I need to bring it up. We're going to bring it over right underneath the sulfuric acid. And that comes to, how about that? Bringing it back this way, we connect you, you, and you, and you, and we now have petroleum. Yay! Come on, bots, get it hooked up. There we go. So you're producing sulfur. It looks like everybody's getting everything they need, and if I Alt-X over the whole thing, we see all of these things are things I am requesting in or piping in. And here's my outputs, and nobody is in the red. So we are now making all of this stuff. I am going to, let's see, we could have our bots start exploding things. I have a site prep for Vulcanus that I've been working on. Difference is that it picks up the tile ghost. It doesn't have the Fulgora stuff. Let's use it. Now, if I mark all of this for site prep, the robots will go out and clean this all up, and I actually remove the warning from everywhere that was in logistics. So we'll have to be aware of that. I also want to remove all of the substations. I'm going to be changing that over. Let's make that change over later. For now, what I will do is I will just use the new, the normal grid here where I'm extending it. So, what do I want to take over? I need to take over the lands to the south so I can get at this tungsten ore that I found. This is 5.5 million. Let's mark it. I'm going to be taking over these lands. And I'm going to be taking over the lands up here because I want to be building my my petroleum plant. Now we have 5.9 million coal. We have 4.3 million calcite. And I have 7.1% of this. And there's some more sulfuric acid up here. We'll see how much there is there. While these guys are doing the bangy stuff, I am going to mark the new area. Well, the area that I haven't done yet. It's not really new. Now, a lot of these are not going to be able to go in because there's lava in place, but we'll have the ones go in that can. And the robots will get all that taken care of. Now we're still standing here waiting for the taxi. The taxi did not stop at Nauvis. So I need to add in circuit conditions so my taxi stops where I need it. We are headed back to Nauvis. You were supposed to stop. Basically, we called the taxi and it went right past us. Now, we are going to have a bunch of robots on Vulcanus that are going to get damaged because they're going to be picking up stuff that's going to burn their feet. Okay, let's go. Travel to space platform taxi. Go back to looking at Vulcanus. All of this stuff is marked. All these things you're supposed to be doing, yada, yada. The other thing is, this is weak. What I want to do is have these output into outputting into one chest, and that's going to be the other chest. So put these down. Anytime my bots have construction bots, they're going to bring them back to here. And anytime they have logistic bots, They're going to bring him back to here, or to somewhere like it. Now, these guys, I'm going to say, if they have, if the number of construction bots in the other box is greater than 100, then I'm going to enable this guy. Grab that, make that a parameter, and put it down here. Same thing for these guys. There. That's better. That'll improve our handling of the bots a bit. We are on the taxi. I want to drop to Vulcanus when we get here. And please take me there. Okay. Now, I can get rid of a lot of this stuff very quickly. Let's start from here. I am just going to see if I can replace the old grid with the new grid. In all of these places. So it'll be picking up the old and putting down the new. We're not picking up the substations quite yet, but we'll have to pick those up soon. And I'm using Control Shift on these, so they're going to be going everywhere, including stamping on some things in my calcite mine, which I will fix later. You look like you're good. Interesting that none of my pump jacks happen to be on the grid. Now the power grid's going to look a little funky because we now have big miners, or big poles in the middle. Because I didn't put one in there, that would have wiped out some of my production, which I don't want to do. But the new grid does look pretty good. It's coming in together. We're also going to take this guy out so I can extend my power. I do want to do that at some point. Okay, so new grid's going down. We'll be able to pick up the old grid once we get the new grid in place. Or just pick up the substations. Are we there yet? We're still in transit. Okay, we are on site. Okay, so I should be able to request in my stuff. So carry around base, and actually let's do defense first. We want construction bots and all of this stuff. I will also want to be carrying 2 stacks of explosives to clear the way around me. This guy also needs 2 stacks of explosives when I'm building. So I think before I actually go out and start fighting this guy, I'm going to get my existing base into shape. And basically that's going to mean waiting until all of this is done. Yeah, let's do site prep on the whole world. And I am going to pause for a bit. We're going to bring up this, and I'm going to be monitoring the stuff that I just had it start building, which is barrels and sulfur and grenades and explosives, all kind of together there. Where's my cliff explosives? There they are. Those cliff explosives are much rarer. So here's my current build. So I'm going to monitor this. And when suddenly everything goes to 0, it means that we have blown everything up. So this is the kind of thing that I do when I'm going behind the screen. I'm pausing it, I'm letting things go. And all I really do is I monitor the production of the things that I'm producing that are being used, so I can see when we're done, it will continue producing until we have the stock, and then production will drop because we are fully stocked and not using them. I can also watch the robots over here, and actually I can also watch my logistics network. I can see this creep over. I can watch the orange here. I'm not going to do that this time because mainly we're watching to see the progress. UPS is low because we are doing more and more things as our total base grows on all planets. This max UPS is going to go down, which means I can't just fast forward it without pausing because you don't get a lot faster. Anyway, I will see you when this has settled out and it's done doing site prep on my area. I may include in that picking up all of the extra substations you see on the grid here that aren't really doing anything but extending the grid. We already have stuff for that. And we will go, and I will probably also manually place power and roboports in areas that don't have logistics coverage. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I will pause the recording and I will be right back. And we are back. So if we take a look at our overall map now, we have the somewhat larger grid. These are one cell size grids with the power poles in the middle of the grid here. And mostly it's all set. I do like my power grid to be complete. I didn't go around and aggressively insert roboports into places. I could have done it. You know, let's have a robot go service you guy. I didn't go around all of these and get them all perfect yet. Anyway, our goal now, let's come off of X16, is we want to go and capture more territory. Oh my goodness, look at this. Turn off my bots, but the rest of you guys. So as these miners have exhausted the calcite, I need to pick them up. So what we want to do now is head down here off the edge of our territory. Notice our warning area is picked up. I need to put down a blueprint for some destruction, which means I need to design the blueprint for destruction. So let's start off with laying out 10 of those. I'm going to put down 2 substations like that. So those substations will power the whole set. I'm going to bring them all back to here. And Actually, let's do this a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So you're there. I'm going to place you up here. 2 rows of these guys. And there is my Vulcanus blueprint for getting rid of a Demolisher. So let's go find this guy and think about, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't really want you guys to do that. I want to find the Demolisher. So think about where I'm going to kill him, and if I want to bait him in. There he is. He's down there. Okay, so I'm going to come up here to the flat spot that we've got. And I want my robots, my personal robots, to be building these guys, if possible. And now we turn them back off. And now I'm going to stretch out these guys in the direction I want him to come from. That should lure him. And now we wait. I am going to speed up time a little bit because he moves slow. There we go. So at 4 times speed, he moves right along. Bada boom. So he took out 6 of our turrets. There we go. That's 1. Okay, so now we want to extend our grid out on the new area here. I'm just going to stripe all of this in. I didn't actually explore his entire area before I did this, so we'll just kind of guess here. That's actually a bad thing. If you guess wrong, you end up making somebody mad. There we go. So we're going to get robots coming in, placing the grid and the logistics, using explosives where necessary to place the grid. And then I will come back later and put down the... we still have some warning stuff in here. Anyway, once we've got this going, we'll put down the part of it that we'll put down the site prep. Now this guy, I need to find, I'm going to go ahead and find the edges of his territory first. There he is. He's coming southeast toward us. What's he doing all down? Okay, so we're down here. So I can put it here. My robots are on. Hello? Okay, I had him on and I turned him off. That was bad. I don't need to bait him. He's going to be coming right in. Got that done. I can pick this up. Turn my robots back off. And now I can start up here and boom, boom. And you also are going to be setting up a grid here. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing again. I'm going to pause, and when we come back, my robots will have extended the grid, and I will have done the pickup on all of this. Let's get rid of the extra power lines here. Those are the power lines that I used for bait, and they got put back down because, of course, you know, when the Demolisher takes these things up, it leaves behind a blueprint for us to please replace. There we go. Okay, time to pause again. Okay, and we're back. As you can see, we have now extended our territory, including our logistic network, all the way out to the edges. A little caveat up here. When this guy makes his turn, he does lap over into my territory a bit because he comes all the way out to here and comes around, and that is not enough space for him to turn. So we need to be careful what we do in this particular area right here. So we have cleared this out. Nice and clean. As you can see in the upper right, we have stopped our science. If we want to do more research, there's the list of things we could do. It's all basically the infinites, plus speed module 3s that I don't think we're really ready to start making yet, and artillery that we're not ready to start needing yet, and of course going to Gleba. So with the main factory not making science, that reduces the stress on the factories for production down to just what we need to make to export items to other bases, mainly for consumption where I'm building here. Okay, next thing. I think we need to go make our there's several things we can do here. We got the cliff explosives are done. Explore and expand, I think I'm going to call that done. So real coal liquefaction. Let's turn on the carry around to make sure I've got enough stuff to do what I want to do. 40 of those, and I'm going to have 40 of those. We're going to be building in big style. And the trader, I'm going to bump the number of labs per trip to 40. I'm not going to bump up the oil refineries because I think we probably are going to have enough. Let's see, I did some numbers here. Actually, I'm going to need like 60 refineries. Yeah, let's bump that. Why not? So I did a little bit of math. And what I'm going to want to do is put down some oil refineries. Oh, wait a minute. Did we get all our stuff yet? No, we're still getting stuff. I'm going to want to put down oil refineries that are making the real coal liquefaction recipe. Look at it here while we're being supplied. Here's the old recipe. In 5 seconds, 10 coal becomes 50 heavy. This is in 5 seconds, 10 coal becomes 90 heavy, 20 light, and 10 petroleum gas. So huge, huge upgrade there. Oh, and that's without productivity modules. Are we still waiting on anything? We are still waiting on a bunch of stuff that we will never get because it doesn't actually exist. Oh, we're actually requesting in landfill, which actually exists. There's no reason to use it, but we use it as a way of compressing down stone so we can throw it away quickly. So in order to do it, I need coal and sulfur. We also are going to need some calcite for our need calcite for a couple things. We will need to have a little bit of the old stuff, so we'll use some calcite for this to do our jump start. Let's not worry about that quite yet. I want to reserve space for fluid buses and such. So I'm thinking that we're going to start here or so. Send us up to the right. I've got plenty of space here. Yes. So what does this look like? Okay, I need to rework this a little bit. Let's see. You are going to go there. You're going to go there. Whoops. Basically, I want to change this over so this is all fluid stuff except for the fast inserter. You go away. You go away. You can go away. You can go away. So we're going to put our combinators down here. I'm not going to be using this. There we go. Big electric poles, substations, chemical plants, oil refineries. There we go. That looks good. Now, I need to put down a couple of oil refineries here. These are making coal liquefaction. And these are going to come in pairs, well, quadruples like this. Okay, now, I am going to bring these guys out like this. And I'm going to, I think, yeah, we're going to line this up like this. So those are heading out toward the fluid bus. Inside this guy, we are going to need to have set these up really quick. I need to bring the heavy oil out and around and back in here. Like that. Hold on. Boom and boom. Okay, that way our heavy oil that we output gets included in this. Secondarily, I actually want to put a pump in, pumping us out that direction. Something like that. I really want it like there. There we go. I can add more pumps up this direction if it turns out I need them. Okay. Now, if I have multiple of these going like this, I need to connect the power across properly, which means I need power like here and here. So it goes to those 4 places. Oh, let's go ahead and use substations on this one. So if I put a substation here, that would cover all 4 of them, but it wouldn't cover down to the next one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them like this. Okay. One of these needs to pick up power. The other ones do not. Okay. That allows me now to put in lamps. That lamp is going to be always on. There we go. I could put lamps out in the middle too. And why not? Nice and brightly lit up like a oil refinery ought to be. Now, this guy. We want to make sure that we always have oil in here ready to go. Oops, you are one of those. So this pump only runs if we have sufficient oil on the inside to keep us going. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to arbitrarily say when heavy oil is greater than, say, 5,000. So we don't have to have a whole lot of oil in this tank to keep us going. We just need some, and that'll do it. But check these really quickly. This should connect up to all of them. That connects up to all of these guys. So it's giving me a border around where the pipes, the extent of the pipes, and then it's drawing in the lines for where the pipes actually connect. So that's good. And if I mouse over the heavy oil, we see that it connects all the heavy oil things inside and out. Okay, now you two are the connections for the steam. This guy does require steam. Now, these also require coal. And I think I can bring the coal in with these guys. Get this really quick. If I mouse... wait. Prod modules. There we go. So with the prod modules in, our rates, as you see on the right-hand side, 1.39 coal per second per one of these. That's perfect. Okay, now we bring in our coal along these lines. Now what I want to do is map this out so that this eats all of 2 completely full blue belts. Now blue belts themselves are 45 per second. So doing a little bit of math. Actually, I have some Python code here if I can find it. Yeah, this tells me that I'm going to need 64 refineries total. Now this is 8 refineries, so I'm going to need 8 repetitions of this. Trim off the corners so I can set this to grid absolute and get the right size. It always anchors it in the upper left-hand corner of the original blueprint. That should have it properly sized and aligned for me to just place down. So 8. There we go. Let's wait for everybody to get filled in that can get filled in. Okay, that's 64 of them. We may or may not have all of our production modules. Once we have all the prod modules, we can confirm the numbers, but I'm pretty sure that what I've got is correct. We don't have any requester chests in here, or that stuff, so I can clear that out and continue north. Don't know what our fluid bus and solid bus are going to look like. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring all of these out to here, just like this. Actually, I could even make these go like that. That actually looks, I like the way that looks. And let's mark what they are. So this is coal. This is because I may not get back to actually doing these until I've gotten a whole bunch of other things going. So coal and coal. This is heavy oil. This is going to be light oil. And this is going to be petroleum. And that's steam. And so is that. Now, the other thing is I could put these up here. Okay, so move all of these up. If I do that, I think I lose coverage. Yeah, if I do that, I lose coverage to my lights in the middle. So we're going to leave it where it is. So the next item on the agenda is cracking. We are cracking from heavy oil to light oil. And we are cracking in groups like that. My power in this case is going to be these guys. So we need, boom, boom. I mean, why not put on all the curlies first? Like that, and like that. And now we need the, let's put the prod modules back on my hotbar. I keep using them. There we go. Now, the downside of cutting back my roboports as I'm building is that I don't necessarily always get refilled with stuff. So we're going to stand there for a moment. These guys, you look at it. Here's the per minutes. Grab this, and how does this compare? This says that we are producing 54.3K heavy oil per minute, and we're using 13.4 for a net of 41.2. And that is about what I calculated. So there's probably a few prod modules that are not there. Anyway, the calculation says that we need 49.008, as in 52. So I'm going to take this as it stands. Oh, let's do a marker out here for light oil. Now, these will be only cracking sometimes, but I'll do those with conditions, which I need to get set up. Right. Heavy oil is here and here. And then we have steam. No, we have water. There and there. You can see now why I am deferring setting up the fluid bus. I want to make sure I get it right. That's going to involve making sure I get it right for everybody. And these may have different requirements. So, get you, and I'm going to put you out to here. So we need to have a count on the number of, on the amount of heavy oil that's on the actual fluid bus. And the easy way to do that is for me to put one in right there, bring you out like that. I'm going to bring you in just for building support. There. So I can move around a little bit. So you're going to get heavy oil in from the main bus, and we're going to be able to monitor a level here. Basically want to know, do I have a lot or a little? And you are going to go like that. And you guys are going to be conditional. You are only going to crack heavy to light if the amount of heavy oil in this particular place is greater than 20K. Okay. Make sure my heavy oil is connected all the way across in 2 places. Gonna do that. And I think I'm going to do the same thing with water. Rather than have 2 inputs. So this guy is going to be making, well, first we're going to have to seed this. I'll have to build the seed stuff. Is now the time to, I think now is the time to build the seed stuff. Let's just use one machine to do the kickstart. Simple coal liquefaction. It needs coal, it needs calcite, it needs sulfuric acid. I'm going to move it down a bit. So there's our kickstart. I'm going to put that in there. This is entirely separate. I need to kickstart this with just enough to get things going. Maybe it's the same condition as this one, maybe not. Yeah. That copies in the condition. So we're going to be producing the... Hold on. Put this in just like that. We're going to be producing heavy oil until we have 5,000 in here, which means 5,000 going into all of this. Okay. Once we have more than 5,000 in here, let's bring this up to 10,000. Okay, so this can bring both these up to 5,000 just with this one guy if it has to. Little by little by little. At some point, these will start kicking off. And when they do, they will raise it quickly above 5,000, above 10,000, and then this will trigger and we'll go out here. And if we want more than 1,200 per second on the fluid bus, we can put in more pumps heading north. And if we want a lot more, we can put in more pumps heading south. We'll work that out. And this guy, sulfuric acid, is again, you are coming in on that. You're going to need to be on the fluid bus. Well, no, you're not. Let's get real here. I do not need the sulfuric acid on the fluid bus. The sulfuric acid is going to be coming down from over here. What I do, however, need is this guy needs to be fed coal and calcite. There, you're fine. Trash unrequested. Request from buffer chests. I'm going to have 200 coal in place and a full stack of calcite. So that should be enough to keep him able to produce a little bit of heavy oil. And when I put it in, some of these guys will get a teeny bit of heavy oil. If any of them get enough to kick off a cycle, that will put even more heavy oil in the system. So we don't need to wait. We don't need to, for instance, say, fill this guy up and then turn on a pump, sending him out. So we're fine. Now I could put this on the bus. I'm gonna leave the kickstart inboard though. We may or may not need sulfuric acid up here. We do need steam and we do need water. Let's get this guy going. All the way down to here. We want to... Oh, wait, no, we don't. I can do this manually. Go from here. Snap to grid, but I'm going to say width is 6. And we need, how many machines? We need a total of 52 of these guys. That's 48. There's 52. And we're going to have to wait for some to be delivered. This is fine. This is fine. So this will handle our problem there. The next thing is we want to crack from, instead of heavy to light, this is going to be light to petroleum. I'm going to pick up 2 reps of this. I am actually going to share the water line. Just like that. And these guys change the recipe, so we are cracking from light to petroleum. Change the condition, so we are running when light oil is greater than 20K. Stripe all that in like that. There we go. I need to have power forwarded. I do not need the red wire forwarded though. Now these are going to be light oil here. And again, we don't want to be... Oh, just do the same thing as this. Right. There's that. This feeds into the light oil. We've got the water coming in here, which stretches down. This is our light oil tank, local light oil tank for decisions here. We need light petroleum. We need 80 of these. Wow. Okay. So we're going to start from here. This is our unit. I'm going to take you off. Snap to grid and a width of 6. 2, 6, 7, 8, 10. Is that 80? That's 80. Hey, trader. Oops, not you. I want to look at the Vulcanus trader. You are waiting on... Oh, well, goodness. Apparently, I don't have oil refineries being made on Nauvis. Okay, so this should be... Is it over here? Yeah. So I did these two. I didn't do the other ones. Let's get the oil refineries going. You are making oil refinery. 100 should be good enough. Duplicate you. And those should have that trader happy fairly quickly. Okay, there we go. And the output is petroleum. There we go. Liking it so far. We haven't brought anything in yet. Hold on, wait a minute. Okay, let's get the sulfuric acid going now. So we start by saying, get you guys out of the middle. We may put you back later, we may not. And go back to old stuff, magic. Huge pump jacks. There we go. Now, do I have a blueprint that will help me get power out to these guys? I don't think I do. Let's go to Nauvis to do this. So we're going to go over here, and I'm going to go... Oops. 5 of these in a row. Okay, do all those. I'm going to use Control X to pick you up, so we've got this nice 5x5 grid. I just want to put it somewhere in here where there's nothing red. Well, that works. I can pick up any of these that is not touching a pump jack. Okay, so there's power to the pump jacks. And we need sulfur coming up to the north. What I want to do is at each stage I want to add from the existing network going down to more stuff. So I don't have to wonder if everything is all connected, because I will have constructed it that way. Very, very simple. And don't worry if I waste a pipe. Right now, the only thing I'm using this for is here. However, we also need to get steam and water. Now this should be all filled in. So this needs 26,800 steam. And these guys need 107,000 water. So let's see here. If I do steam and water like this, and just build them out to the left here. So let's start with them. If I put it here, there we go. You are condensing steam, and you are steam to water. You actually are going to need some calcite input. I just had a thought. Steam here, we're producing 120K steam from acid. We're using 86K of it. We need a lot more water. Whoa! No, that's not right. It can't be right. That can't be right. These guys need 102.5K water per minute. You produce... Oh, this is going to be water. This is a very water-heavy setup. Okay, so, you produce 120K steam. You take in 60K, so this goes to 2 of these. If I do it 1-to-1, it means half my steam goes out and half my water goes out. Let's do it that way. Pick you up. And I'm going to start from the left. Tell you what, we will route you differently. Since this is going to be a larger build than I thought. And I am going to use these guys. What was that number again? I need 18 more. So we're going to do a total of 20 to have a little bit extra. This seems off. Something seems wrong about this. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, look at the top stuff again here. 102.5K water. And this produces 108. Okay. And we have a tremendous amount of steam being produced. So your steam and your water. And all of you guys need calcite. So really, you are picking up calcite. And we'll bring in a stack of calcite in each one of these. Why not? Let's belt in the calcite. And that means I need to move it up. Okay, well, if we're going to move it up anyway, let's move it up enough that we can comfortably do this. Okay, yeah, we're going to belt in the calcite. There we go, and blue, calcite, calcite. And you are a entire stack. Oh, no, you're not. You're belted. Snap to grid. And I think, see, I could put power down the middle, which would catch top and bottom, but I wouldn't be catching these guys. Yeah. That. Power there. Power there. Lighting there and lighting there. These lightings are always on. Grid absolute. This needs to be calcite. I think this is the only place we use calcite. Let's see. Anything else here that we're going to use calcite for locally? No, we're good. So where's my calcite? Calcite's here, so we need the calcite to come over and up. We need the coal to come over and up. And this guy, I am going to bring the calcite in for you right here. So we're going to do coal and calcite. You're coal, and you're going to be calcite, and you are also going to be calcite. There we go. It's all marked up. I am going to take a bit of an extended break. We are an hour and a quarter in. I'm going to come back and continue this, hopefully bringing in some of this stuff to get this guy cranked up, and then we'll add some products up above. But I need to go take a walk while it's still nice weather outside, and I will see you when I get back. Okay, that was a nice walk. Not just going out and touching grass, but enjoying. So we are ready to start hooking this up. I've identified the things that I want to put on the bus. Above here, we are going to be needing to make plastic and lubricant, and I think I'm going to make the sulfur over in the other area. Yeah, we can make the sulfur over in the petroleum area, and that will save us from having to pull all of the petroleum back. Let's start laying it out. I think the next thing to do, this is going to be water and this is light oil. Next thing I think of is I'm going to grab my build here. I'm going to modify this. So I'm just going to select the first chunk of it. We can slide it right in here on the edge. And there we go. And I think what I'm going to do is have the top half be the same as the bottom half. We're not quite the same, and I do like it to be symmetric where it can be. And this still gives us connections into the light oil. We do have to connect the light oil top and bottom, but that's all right. The other change I'm going to make is I'm going to output to a belt. So we're going to go down here and up here. Now, rocket fuel is very dense, so the chances that this is going to be actually a full belt, much less more than a full belt, are pretty low. And I just put that in the wrong place, didn't I? Yes, I did. Needs to replace the thingy there. These guys are now correctly programmed. If they put a wire on them, they would have the wrong thing, but they're good where they are. I am going to merge these just like that. And this is going to provide me with that. This is there. Now I could put this directly into the logistics network, but that would mean that the rockets getting fueled up would always be having to grab from all the way up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to belt this to wherever I put my launch site, or at least near it. And then we can either belt it into the launch site or, I don't know, have robots mediate there somewhere. Okay, now, we actually, getting it out here is a bit of a trick. I am going to pull this out by one more. Okay, so now I can come from here, oops, not like that, with one of these. These are light oil. Now I could bring it one more and hook it from top to bottom here. That actually is a good idea. Let's bring it out one more. Still going to use the undergrounds there, even though it's kind of redundant at this point. There we go. And these are always going to be running. And product and all of that. And I need to have enough of this to eat up all of the light oil. And I have no idea how much that is. So the alternative is enough to produce a blue belt of that. Per minute, we are taking in 50 light oil and we're producing 5 of those per minute. So there's no chance of that. Okay, let's see here. How much are we producing now? Alt-X, this whole thing, so 32 assemblers is producing 119. Let's do 3 times that. So we need, that's 16 rows, we need 48 rows. So 24 times this, which is 12 times that, which is 6 times that, which is 3 times this. Okay, and that should be quote unquote enough. Yeah, we hope. So there's the rocket fuel. I'm not going to unhook the old rocket fuel until I've got the new one hooked into wherever we're going to actually be launching. I may put launch pad up here. Yeah, new launch pad, maybe belt fed. Oh, what would we have to feed into this? So the launch pad needs rocket fuel and blue chips and LDS. Well, LDS is this kind of thing. This particular organization of LDS is running 608, so a little over half of this. This is 20, so if I did 12 of these guys, so 12 of these would be about right. So I could put this much in. That's actually not a bad thing to aim for. Your inputs are basically plastic and, yeah. So if I had a little set of foundries here that were producing my, oh, or here. Didn't realize it was so close. Goodness, yes, we could do molten iron and molten copper coming out of there. That would feed the LDS. So now we need to do the plastic. Well, how much plastic do we need per LDS? So I'm going to do 12 of these guys. 364 requires 960 plastic. Our existing plastic area is 12 of them. So this is about the right number of plastic. So let's do these guys. We require coal, and that turns out plastic. Okay, so there's plastic. We also need to do lubricant. I'm going to shove in a little bit of lubricant here just to get it going. I can probably put it in here because the lubricant is such a small build, but I'm going to make it bigger than we had before. I'm going to grab this much. I'm going to do twice that. We're just going to stack it up over here, kind of near the water, but not quite. Somewhere it's convenient. I don't want to put it here because that might imply something there. Here? Yeah, here. Okay. So boom and boom. And we're going to put our power down the middle. Boom, like that. And we're coming out to, oh, that was a bad place. Could bring it like that. Yeah, that's not too bad. There's that. And you are heavy oil. So the heavy oil is going to need to come down to here. So normally I like my fluid buses to go just one direction, but I'm reversing it in this case to bring the heavy oil down here and get lubricant out. Lubricant I'm just going to take off to the east here. What do we need lubricant for anyway? We need it for several things. It's coming out to the bus over here. And making these guys. Okay, so we do need to bring it all the way over here. Yeah. So from here across, down in. You know what? I don't really like that idea. I don't like the idea of taking it off to the right. There. We're going to bring it out to the middle. Change you to be lubricant. We will manipulate our lubricant as necessary. So up here I was going to do the plastic followed by the low density structures. So what was I saying? This size, I'm going to double it. Let's grab just this much of it. And let's look at it. What I want to do is I want to bring the coal down the middle and split it out. Which means I need a little space on the bottom. Let's think about this again. Okay, I need some thinking space here. What I want to do is I want to bring my plastic out the outside. And I want a way to make it go onto and do this, but I need this space here so that I can ditch things. Which means these have to go to the middle. Which means the coal needs to go into the top. These are plastic. Let's use filters. Okay. Which means these guys, if I want to do this, so one belt of coal becomes 2 belts of plastic. If you look on the right, that's about the ratio. It's not quite the ratio once I get the productivity modules in, but close enough. Like this, or more to the point, like that. Ba-doomp, ba-doomp. I can bring it all down the middle like that. If I put power in here, that works. And we can put lights, as usual, always turned on, here, here, and here. There we go. And enough of these to consume an entire belt of coal. Now, what did I say? Control C, Shift, set you up, snap to grid, 2, 3, 6, 12. Do we have Chem Labs out there somewhere? Somebody's got to have some Chem Labs. Yeah, on the way 40, we're good. So, modular or not, transport belts, blue belts. This is half a belt of coal into 1 belt, so we're going to do double this. I do want to mark this guy here as being my shift spot. There we go. So these guys will put it on the outside of the belt. Those 12 will fill up the outside of the belt. We'll come to here. This will shift it to the inside. We'll fill up the outside of the belt here. And it's all good. There will be small amounts of edits. I am going to bring it down like this. Now I could just bring the undergrounds through on all of these, but not necessary. So there's our 2 belts worth of plastic. Now, the major consumer of the plastic is going to be low-density structures, which we are about to build. Plenty of space. Now, I said I wanted 12 of these guys. Just like that. And we're going to be bringing the plastic in on a belt, and we're going to be taking the LDS out. Yeah, I'm looking at that thinking, can I do any of the inputs or outputs down the middle? And I probably could. Maybe I'll take our inputs down the middle, but I'm not sure. Might be able to do the outputs down the middle, but still not sure. Let's put it here. If I get rid of these, looking at this, we have 1.33 plastic per second input, 0.5 per second LDS output. So our output might go down the middle like this. You're there. So everybody's got output. Get rid of these guys. That must be left over from something else. We do need to get the power through here somewhere. Oh, these can have power. Okay. Fine. Oh, am I out of these? Hold on. Oh, they're on their way. Okay. There we go. Get some refills in here. Again, I keep moving myself out of range of everything. Okay, so that leaves me with the old power connections, and some inserters. I think I am going to redo these inserters from scratch. Like that. And I can bring these up in line. Perfect. And we need light. And we need belts. And I put that in the wrong way. There we go. So the idea is we bring 2 belts of plastic in, and this is the only thing we're using this plastic for. So I'm going to come out to here and make the turn. We're going to come up here and make the turn. Like that. Put in one little balancer there, just for good measure. Now if I look at all of this, yeah, we are not using anywhere near all of our plastic. So what we'll do is whatever plastic we have coming out on the end here, I may collect that up and do other things with it. But for now, we're just going to leave it like this. Or why not? Now the other thing is these all need production module. These need prod modules. So you are going to get productivity 2s. And we are probably well beyond the number of productivity 2s that exist anywhere near this planet. Yeah. We're going to have to make a whole bunch of prod modules here because we're not going to be able to bring them in. So we're producing 2 belts plus, and we're using 7/10 of a belt, even just for that. But still, this gives us, per minute, 700 of these, so that's great. And this gives us 200. I could have sworn I was going for half again that. This is 24. I was looking for 48, wasn't I? They're going to double this up. There we go. That's more like what I expected to see. And you are going to be coming out with low density structures. Oh, creek. One problem with going for a long walk in the middle of the afternoon is you can end up being a little stiff and sore. Let all my robots just fill that in. You know how glad I am that I don't have to do that by hand. What's going on there? Oh, lava. Okay. So what have we got? We've got our rocket fuel, we've got our plastic, we've got all of this stuff and all of this stuff all taken care of. I have copied the low density structures out. So we're building those at higher scale. And that's 2 of our 3 parts for the rocket silo right there. How about we get this hooked up and running? Already got the sulfuric acid hooked up. Let's see. Fluids. Steam only goes up to here. Okay, and then we have water that goes on beyond it. If I could somehow collect the steam up separately, I wouldn't have to actually I bring the steam out to here instead. Whoops. Except that's not steam. Almost did it to myself. Yeah, that's our special. That's our get me started stuff. Steam. Steam's this guy. I could bring him out this tight. So the steam doesn't have to go out to the bus because it only goes this far. So this is really kind of a mini bus area for steam. So these are waiting on calcite before they can turn out steam. That's fine. We're not going to get hooked up yet. You know, it'll be easier to see what's going on if I actually have these hooked up, huh? Oh, so, if I am using my normal T-junction methods of bringing things out, something like this, what I want to do is I want to be able to have these like right next to each other. But this would put the light oil out like that. So this is 4 kinds of fluid. I think that will work. Okay. So what I'm thinking is that's heavy oil. That's light oil. That's petroleum. And we're going to put water here. Let's copy this down here so I can keep them straight. Okay, so you, just like that. Just like that. Okay, so those are that 4. Now we can go with more by adding them on like this. But we can't bring it all the way back to here if we do that. We can also bring it onto the right, like this. Okay, that works. So we'll bring them onto the right and we'll keep them packed tight. And that does mean what I want to do is I want to bring these up like that. So the solids need to have another underground just right on this line. Okay, that's got those. Bring these up. So nothing goes in this vertical area because this is where we are going through with our undergrounds. I can stretch these downward like this. Okay. Your water. Water is here. Okay, we don't have petroleum on his line yet. All right, so we don't have lubricant. We'll just add lubricant in right here. Blue, blue, blue. There we are. And tuck this in here. These markers aren't going to be necessary once things get flowing, but I do want to start with them so I don't get confused and hook up the wrong thing to the wrong place. Okay, you're just a marker because you don't go through to him, and you are also just a marker. Actually, let's leave you like that. Yeah, okay. To kind of show how these interleave together. Okay. Lubricant. Heavy oil. Water. Oops. Solids coming in. Keep everything labeled because I'm getting confused from time to time. So we need heavy oil and water. Oh, that's a bad adjacency. So I'm going to bring the water in somewhere else. How about here? There we go. And now you are light oil. Petroleum and light oil. Yeah, this is what I was going to get things flowing before I started doing this so that I wouldn't have to be labeling everything. But I guess I had to kind of plan this out so I knew where my solids were going to be. Water right next to the light oil. That's no good. There we go. Light oil, water, light oil, petroleum, light oil. Okay, now you want petroleum. We're going to bring it in here. There's petroleum. Now there's two more fluids I need here. Okay. Basically, I need molten iron and molten copper. So this is molten iron. Oops. Molten copper with the blue background, yep. And molten iron, molten copper, excuse me, with the orange. Now if I copy from here to here, this is my repeatable. I'm not going to, well, no, actually I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bring the molten stuff any further down than here, but it will go further up that way. You got your plastic from here. This guy did not have his coal coming up. Where's coal? Here's coal. And this guy is LDS. So I think what I want to do is I want to bring the LDS and the I want to bring the LDS and the rocket fuel out this way. So they don't go anywhere else, really. They're going to be heading up towards wherever I am putting my rocket launch area, my new rocket launch area, or someplace I can feed all of this stuff into the logistics network to be carried off to my existing launch pads. And the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking that maybe taking these off to the left is not such a bad idea. Okay, what's our biggest thing we need here? We need coal. Oh, wait a minute. I want to know the biggest thing I need. I can go over here, I can look at the whole thing, and Alt-X across the whole thing. And I can look at it. I can say, my biggest inputs, well, we've got the molten copper and molten iron we need coming in. And steam. So really, we have a little bit of calcite and a lot of coal. In terms of blue transport belts, we have 3 transport belts of coal. How many consumers do we have? Well, what if I take each consumer and give them a belt, and then think about whether I need to collapse them? Let's start off with all the calcite in one place. So we're just going to do the calcite on this one. I don't think there's any more calcite we need than what we have right here. In fact, yes, I think that's all we need. I don't need to be stingy with my belts here. I can just do this. So we're going to split it here. There we go. Here's calcite input. I just bring this down until it's time to head for the calcite. Yes, I can. Let's mine some calcite. What do I want my calcite mines to look like? I want them to look like this. I want all my mines to look like this, with the exception that I don't really need, well, Yeah, let's have it always potentially feeding into the middle. These guys. Hold on. Hold on. If I start from here and I head south, I think so. Those are 4 areas. Don't worry, we're going to be fixing those in a moment. Oh, good Lord. We have been just chewing through the coal, haven't we? It's because these had efficiency rather than product modules on them. That's okay. We're about to shift to bigger coal anyway, right? Right. So I'm not going to pay any attention to horizontal alignment. This is all, I don't care where this is aligned originally. We're just going to go from here. And I'm going to add one more group of 4 on the back. So we're going to go here. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to grab the back 4, extend it out by 2 more. Okay, so this is 8 belts of varying sizes, of which I only really need 1 belt. What I want to do is I want to give each one of these a chance to get onto that 1 belt. So what I'm going to do is bring this guy out here. Boom and boom. Like that. And then off of the bottom one here and the top one here, we'll have the usual dump it into stock setup. We need this. Here's calcite. Okay, these were just dumping directly into boxes, so that's not going to be a good model. I'll just do it manually. So you connected this way. You are going to be enabled if the amount of calcite in this box is less than 2,000. And you are going to be filtering so you only move calcite. I know, completely unnecessary, right? Until it becomes necessary. Coming out here, I am going to do a lane balancer. Like that. And coming over to here, we're going to come down until we can't go down any further. We come across. There we go. And there's the calcite. So the calcite is now going to get our steam going, and it's also going to provide calcite for our simple coal liquefaction. Now, coal. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this up into each one of the ones that is coal. And then we'll decide whether I want individual lanes or if I want to bring fewer lanes out and split them out or not. I am suspecting that we will keep all of these lines of coal. Is there anybody else up here that needs coal? I think we're good. So 4 lines of coal. That's entirely reasonable. I am going to put a 4-to-4 balancer on this. Oh, come on. I built so many of those. It just goes so fast. Okay, running it through. We've got coal here, calcite here, coal, coal. And coal here. And that's it. All of my solids, I think all of my solids are taken care of now. I just need to get the coal from the coal patch. I'm going to grab this much of it. And yeah, I'm going to do that. I come back over here. I'm going to grab a long one again. Same drill. Line up with this left and right until it is covering the patch. I think this is going to be long enough as it is. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, not all of these have decent coverage, so we really do need to do the 4x4. None of them is going to be partial. Now, with this guy, I can actually just copy-paste this. Oops. Let's change what we're filtering. Create blueprint. Actually, I don't want to be merging them all together, though. I do want to bring them together, but I'm going to bring them together into something else. This is coal. Oops. Okay, this goes away. These go away. So this guy looks like this. I've also built this a number of times. Okay, so what this does is it balances these two belts against each other and these two against each other. That takes these two halves and balances them this way, then does one final balancing. So this is topologically the same. And this needs to come out of here and head north. I hope I don't run into... Oh. Okay, you can't go under lava. So we're going to have to dodge around the lava. But I'm going to come back to the same line I was on. If I do that, I really ought to run this guy over this way as well. There we go. That's reasonable. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a big old hunk out of this. I'm going to go to the right to here. And then I'm going to say, you guys like that, and you guys like that. Carve those out. Oh, blurp. There we go. Now, you guys. There we go. I should have thought and brought it out to the north or to the east anyway. So we now have all this coal. Each one of these is providing an additional stash of 2,000 coal in the box. Well, that's no good. Apparently I hit Control X instead of Control C. Duh. There we go. So, and these guys, I want these to be productivity instead. So let's grab a upgrade planner. And you are upgrading in miners to have productivity because I want to stretch these as long as possible, and I have more than enough miners there to get as much as I need. So you get prod modules. You get prod modules. And I'm going to switch you over so you also have prod modules even though you're about to be decommissioned. See, this guy worries me every time he goes by. It's one of the reasons I haven't put these guys in, because I'm not sure whether he cuts that corner sometimes. Anyway, when we get productivity modules, those will go in. So you go around, you now have coal coming in here. I need to have a corner here. And here. Whoops, and you actually need to come down. Like this. There we go, and now we just wait for the robots to put that in. So now all the coal is there. So in theory, this should be able to trick off. This enable disable is reversed. So we haven't started yet. So when I fix this guy, it should kick him off. But you start making, and you're going to make a little bit at a time. And you see this flickers just a little bit as we get a little bit of oil in there. And that's going to continue to keep trying to prime him. It'd be nice if I could specify priorities. So the stuff coming in here would prioritize going into the earlier ones first. I suppose you could do that with pumps, but there's no way I could fit the pumps in here to do it. There'd be basically it would be a pump pumping out of this guy, which would say, don't pump out of this guy unless this guy has 1K in it. I could do it with enough external stuff to have one of them be on priority. Nah, let's just let it go. I'm gonna speed this up. This only has to happen if everything goes to 0. Boom. And now this should kick in. It looks like all of our main oil refineries are now going. So let's look at the fluids over the last 10 minutes. Notice the sharp rise, again, a little teeny bit of heavy oil, and then suddenly boom. We've got some ticking off from the other side of the base. This is clearly the new base. Got some light oil, we've got some petroleum, we've got some lubricant coming in. Oh, and we're starting to chew up power, or steam at least. How are we doing for power? Suddenly our oil refineries are drawing power. Okay. We are drawing 240-ish megawatts. We're doing okay there. Now, we're not going to get any LDS out of here because we do not have any of the molten metals yet. So that's next. I think we can go ahead and do that. Previously, I had these setups for molten metal. I'm going to start off with something similar. But we're going to edit the heck out of it. Let's go up here and take a look at what we've got. I think I'm going to check off the real coal liquefaction, because this isn't really real coal liquefaction stuff. So basically, I want something that brings all of these together. Is there any way I can tuck this out of the way? For instance, by moving these like this. Let's see. This would mean bringing this guy out like this. No, that's no better. Let's start off with this. I I'm going to put in power there. And power there. I think I want... I'm doing this based on a hunch. I think maybe 8 of these might not be a bad thing. This might be a place where a substation's not a bad idea. Okay, so the lava would then hook up here and here. I'm going to hook this up on the right-hand side. Okay, that makes us a little more compact. It brings that out, pointing kind of towards where I want him to go. Now this is per minute 11K. We look at this, we're talking 88K, so we need at least 10 times that. Productivity, you guys, but I'm also going to put in speed modules. Where did they go? There's the speed modules, and I need speed beacons for those. Put them on this side. Okay. That covers it. Okay. So with the speed modules, these each have 2 coverage. There's going to be more coverage for more in the middle. For instance, this guy's going to catch coverage from the next beacon down. So with all of that, that says it's 0.56 per second of calcite. And he's producing 12 stone per second. Holy smoke. Okay, well, if one of these can't have its stone pulled out by this guy, then we'll have to replicate him somehow. Wow, that's a lot of stone. Okay, we do that. Oh, I don't have prod modules in these guys yet. It's likely there are no prod modules closer than Nauvis. 12 on the way. Okay, so this guy now has the correct numbers. You actually have 3 beacons on you. So this is 14 per second. And this guy is 12, so it's 12 on the end and 14 in the middle. They're doing 234 per second on each one of these. So the whole thing, 203, 234, that's 437. So that's 874 for the whole thing. I'm going to duplicate this. Okay, so there's our molten copper. Remember, this isn't just for this guy, it's also for everything else we're going to be doing. But 2.7K, 140K. Okay, so this is more than enough for him. Let's go with half that. Yeah, let's bring it out again. So a dozen of these. So there's our molten copper line. I'm going to stick in over here. Like that. How about right there? We are depending on robots to get us our calcite at 0.25. Well, we'll see what it's like when we get the rest of it out there. There's that. So there's our stuff. There's your power. These guys are all set to one stack calcite. And I am just going to bring you all the way across like that. And you are all producing that. Now, we do have one other place where we're doing the same thing. Here. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to put it in here. So you are requesting landfill, and you are just tossing landfill over. Nothing special. Now these guys do require roboports, so I am going to put them in right here. And by having them part of that, that means I know that that's part of what we need. And there's our official power. Okay, so there's copper. I want to take this whole thing and the only thing that changes is the recipe here. I'm going to come down here just like that. And you are doing the recipe molten iron from lava. Now, how much molten? Okay, this says we need more pumps. We need 5 more pumps to do this. Did not realize. Okay, so what have we got here? We have just enough pumps. We are producing 168 and 16. Yeah, these don't have their prod modules yet, which means we're actually using less resources than it says here. And all the speed modules are in. This is how much landfill we would be producing, except of course that yeah, we are nowhere near keeping our landfill machines busy. That's good. We're not trying to make landfill here. Oh, how much calcite am I using up here? 886.2 per minute. Okay. On the way, 1. Okay. So hopefully when we have landfill to be destroyed, it picks the close place to dispose of it. Not a real biggie. So this is copper. And this is iron. Now, is it possible for me to sneak this through here? Not quite. And given positioning, so the hole here is just wrong. If I squeeze this over, like, yeah, what I'm doing is evil. Actually, if I take all of this, these could all go over by 1. And now you come through like that. What are we doing here? Looking good. Now all of these guys are just a little bit evil. They're all requesting in. The only real reason I needed a box here was because I didn't want to put the calcite somewhere awkward. I could move the calcite down here, use under pipes, and bring this in even closer. Nah. But I can also change these boxes to red boxes just fine. I do not need to be requesting in all of the stone from elsewhere. We will handle excess stone in the logistics network separately. There. Now, buffering. You guys, I am going to put the buffering. Yeah, I'll just put it here. Oh, you don't fit. It's fine. A little extra buffering for molten iron. Look how fast that popped those out. How much per second am I doing? 2,700 per second. Wow. That's nuts. So it's 2 or 3 pumps on each one of those to get that rate of throughput. But this does mean now that we do have the LDS coming. We do have the these guys are wrong. Very careful to get the right thing attached to the right pipe. These guys should have been going, though. So this guy has the fluids. Where does the iron stop? Stops here. Ah, this looks like a midpoint that didn't get put back up. There we go. So these should all have the fluid now, and they're just waiting on plastic. If I come down here to plastic, you are waiting on coal. Your coal is pointing the wrong way. So is yours. There we go. And now we're getting plastic. I notice the cracking down there is starting to trick off. Just a little bit. And with the plastic, we should be getting connect, enable if low density structure is less than 400. Why are you not putting plastic bars? Oh, I probably don't have logistic connections. Right, these don't actually have logistic connections in this location. So we are going to be killing these. There we go. So these will just run whenever they have materials, which is going to be most of the time. Now, these guys tried to put some output here and didn't put any output because these guys also are trying to connect to the logistics guy. There we go. So that's our petroleum area completed. All the way out to low density structures, which I didn't expect to put in low density in the petroleum area, but there it is. And we have a whole bunch of area in here where we can deal with molten metals of various sorts. I think I'm happy with this. I'm going to call this a recording and call it a day, probably. I will talk to you in the next recording.